Hello, this is Statler Smith. You are watching one installment of a weekly series where I write an essay about something that's on my mind, record myself speaking that essay, and then upload that video to YouTube. For reasons set forth in the initial video in this series, this is a practice for myself. As such, this video will likely not be entertaining or particularly educational. Perhaps one day I will have value to add to others, but in the words of Aragorn, King of Gondor, it is not this day. If you choose to keep watching, feel free to give feedback on the clarity of thought and speech, as that is what I am trying to improve. Please let me know if you have undergone a similar journey or have tips to share. And who knows, maybe I will eventually add more video editing. With that, let's get into this week's essay.
Hello. A coworker and I were talking the other day about the impact that moving away from our childhood home has had on us personally. This concept has also been on my mind while I'm preparing to go home for the holidays, preparing to be around my family nonstop for probably too long. The longer I've lived away from my family, the more I kind of feel out of place when I return. Um, they've been growing and changing in their own way, and so have I. And we haven't seen how each of us are growing and changing. And now when we get back together, we're like, you're different. In the early days, when I moved away, lived in a new state, I was still obsessed with going back home, with things that were happening back home. I wanted the details of who won what game on Sunday, what was discussed, what drama was happening. I spent a lot of my vacation time traveling between my parents and my wife's parents just to spend time with them. And over the past few years, my desire and my sense of wanting to be involved in like everything has dramatically reduced. Partially because it's just not practical. But I don't need to know everything about what's going on in my siblings' lives. I don't need to know who said what, who got mad at who, or anything of that sort. So as I consider going back home for the holidays, I start to feel kind of restricted. It's like I was a person then, and I'm a person now. And if I go back in that environment, I feel like I'm going to be restricted in what I can do because they expect me to be a certain way. More accurately though, I know what expectations I placed on myself, right? When I'm in that environment, I revert back to those expectations. Now, for context, what were those expectations for me? I would feel responsible for the relational health of everybody in my family with everybody else in my family. I would feel personal responsibility if my younger brother wasn't being kind to my mom. I would take fault if my sister-in-law didn't want to be around my family. I expected myself to support everybody else all the time, to be the one who bridged all the gaps. If somebody fell, it was because I wasn't doing my job. Now, to be fair, I think having those expectations for myself did help me to be more capable as a person. I expected myself to do more, and so I did more, and so I became more capable of doing more. But I don't want to keep those expectations. I would like to grow in a different way and a probably healthier way. Now, looping back around, that's a quick overview of the expectations that I had for myself. And I start to feel those again when I consider going back home to my family. I don't fit that mold anymore. I'm not that bridge builder, and I don't want to fit that mold anymore. I still build bridges. I just don't want to be, I don't want to expect myself to be the bridge builder for everybody. Thinking about this, it's made me wonder why should I go back to my family? If I don't like who I pressure myself to be around them, why would I put myself in that situation? On initial thought, I have a couple responses. First, I don't actually feel that way around my parents. I know for most people that feel this way, mostly it's their parents that still treat them like high school kids. They still tell them to clean up their clothes and to wash the dishes and all that stuff. My parents don't treat me that way, for which I am eternally grateful. I enjoy being around my parents. My mom loves talking about politics and religion and all those things, and I consider myself an amateur philosopher. So I love having her go through the hoops of, when you say this, what do you mean? Can you define that a bit more? And what would your response be to this counter argument? My dad loves playing games, and so do I. And they have so much fun with my daughter. and she has so much fun with them. I love seeing that. So my parents are awesome. They don't make me feel like I have to fit a mold. Second, I kind of feel obligated to go see my family. My family is family, right? That's what you do around the holidays is go see family. Not going to see them feels like I'm betraying them. And not just a betrayal of my family, but of the holiday season, and betraying everything our society stands for. I guess I would, that's kind of tradition, I guess. Now, there is a third reason that comes to mind. I'm not sure if those two are strong enough by themselves, seeing everybody, and I can go see my parents at a different time. Holidays are, man-made anyways. And the third reason, though, is that I know that strong relationships lead to a fulfilling life. And I've already invested so much in these family relationships, years of investment, active investment. To stop investing now seems like I would be cutting it off a bit too early. Now I am in the financial industry. I'm going to use financial terms like investment to talk about this. That's just me. Anyways, would I look at this as is that just a sunk cost fallacy, right? I've already invested so much, I can't not invest. It's a great way to waste a lot of money. So let's take a look with that lens. Do I believe that the future potential relationship benefit will be worth the current investment that I will be putting in, or that I will be effortfully making with these upcoming holidays? And here's where I'm not sure. The investment that I will be put in will take less emotional work than if I was investing in a new relationship, for sure. I've already built a lot of relational infrastructure. Building more on top of that will take less emotional capital. But I don't know what the marginal benefit would be. I'm sure it's going to be different for each person, right? For me, the purpose of building a relationship is to feel a sense of connection and belonging. Selfish, sure, but that's like selfish the way that I need to eat. I'm not going to be getting rid of that anytime soon. So looking at relationships in that way, there are a few people in my family who do not contribute to my sense of connection or belonging. But that's past performance. Past performance does not always predict future performance. And relationships are different type of investments, right? People can change. And you might not see returns for years until they're there when you need them to be. The investment may seem to fall on deaf ears now. Maybe it just needs to percolate a bit more. Time in the market beats timing the market, right? So being impatient and cutting off the growth, maybe it just never gives it proper chance. So with all these considerations, I need to figure out what to do, right? Based on what I discussed above, the nature of the relationship investment versus like financial investments, and kind of time in the relationship, I do think the smart decision is to continue investing in those relationships, which means, of course, that I won't be canceling our holiday trip. The type of investment will change, though. Previously, my relational investments, translated to subjugating my own will to whatever the people around me wanted. I don't want to continue investing like that. So how do I stop, right? How do I continue investing in the relationships but change the mold that I am in those relationships? Common wisdom would be just be yourself, which is as helpful as it is detailed. My main hangup is that I feel the pressure to bend over backwards for other people, to find out and then do what they want. I don't want to cave into that pressure. Usually I've just kind of gone with the flow of whoever has the strongest opinion and just been happy that we're all together. So to me, the first step of not going with the flow is to have a preference, to have an opinion about what we should do, and then to state that preference, even if it's at odds with what other people want to do. Just be okay with the difference. Be okay with having a different opinion, with making somebody uncomfortable. I mean, it's up to me to do it if or not, anyways. So just stating that I don't want to do it, or that I'd rather do something else. And that kind of starts now. That tendency of mine to bend over backwards for others, um, hasn't really gone away. There are I have changed for sure, but there is still a lot of work to do in terms of um, being confident in what I want and not feeling guilty about it. And so I can start now to be okay wanting something, um, speaking that into existence, and going for it, not feeling guilty for doing what I want. So, in my own way, I will start exerting my will on the world. I wonder what my wife will say. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week.